What's up, guys? This is Chris here, and today we're going to be talking about why I don't trust pump action shotguns. This is a bit of a hot take, and I understand that, and it's a controversial stance to have, but I'm going to explain why, and I'm going to explain my experience with the pump action shotgun. So first off, I am a gun reviewer. I review a lot of firearms, including a lot of shotguns. So I have probably more experience than your average person, at least who fires guns on a regular basis, hunts, shoots competitions, stuff like that. I shoot enough to actually find failure points in certain platforms that maybe other people don't. So I just wanted to give my experience, and remember, this is just my experience and my opinion. Everybody has one. Some are more valid than others, and it is what it is.
Hey hottie, Lorraine here. Real quick before we get into today's video, I'd like to thank the sponsor, TacPack. You probably already know that Chris and I absolutely love TacPack. We used to think it was such a gimmick, but every month when our TacPack arrives, there's always something new and interesting to try, and oftentimes Chris and I find a cool gadget that we didn't even know that we needed. The January TacPack Plus box is going to be worth around $300, which is more than double what you pay for it. Make sure you use code HONESTOUTLAW for a free $60 tactical gift. As always, thank you to TacPack for helping us bring you free content.
So the first thing I want to mention is I've been shooting pump action shotguns since I was about 12 years old. I have a lot of experience. Now, the first shotgun I actually shot was a break action single shot 20 gauge and then a 12 gauge, but after that I upgraded to an 870, just a regular version in 12 gauge. I had a slug barrel for it, and I had a bird barrel, and I had a tactical barrel. And I used that 870 for many years. I have an 870 Wingmaster in 20 gauge. Now, along with hunting with pump action shotguns for over a decade, I have used them in competition, and I have also used them in tactical classes, and I've reviewed many of them, shooting them with tons of different ammunition types in tons of different situations and weather conditions, with, most importantly, a variety of different skilled shooters, from beginners to experts. And that really matters when it comes to the pump action shotgun, how much experience you have on the platform. Now, I also have experience not just with shotguns, but with rifles and pistols to compare the overall reliability to, which is going to be more important here at the end of the video. Now, the reason why pump action shotguns are so popular is for a number of reasons. There's a lot of good things about them. First off, they are extremely affordable for what you get. You can get an extremely powerful, relatively reliable platform for, in some cases, the sub $200 or even $300 price point that you can use for hunting, you can use it for target shooting, and you can use it for home defense, and you can feel pretty comfortable in those roles because not only can they do it, but they've been doing it for a couple hundred years. Something like this Mossberg Shockwave you can get for about $500, and something like this Mossberg 590 Retrograde here you can get for, again, around $500, and you can pass these guns to your children. They are going to last quite a while and do the job that they need to do. Not only, again, are they extremely powerful, you can get them in tons of different calibers, and pump action shotguns have a tendency to run a variety of ammunition that maybe semi-automatic shotguns will not. Lower powered ammunition all the way up to very high powered buckshot will run with a pump action shotgun because you run it manually using the pump. So they're affordable, they're powerful, they're relatively reliable, and they're available. So what's not to love, right? They are the quintessential perfect pick for home defense. Well, that's not necessarily true, because that's sort of the argument on paper, and reality doesn't take place on paper. Over the years, I have recommended pump action shotguns time and time again because I know what the potential can be. I can run a pump action shotgun well because I grew up in rural Iowa, where I hunted with them as a child. I used them as a teen all the way to an adult, all the way till today. I own tons of different pump action shotguns, so I am familiar with the battery of arms. I'm familiar with what they can do and what they can't do. And sometimes when you know something, you forget that other people do not. And when I come out here with my wife, for example, who is a very good shot, but not quite a pump shotgun aficionado, you start to see the real wheels fall off in the argument that the pump action shotgun is the best home defense gun for everybody. Stay there. And the reason why I don't trust the pump action shotgun is because of the manual operation that makes it so reliable. At the end of the day, I'm not sure if it's the gun I don't trust or if it's myself, and particularly you guys. because you have to have a lot of practice to make a pump action shotgun work effectively time and time again. And then even when you have it perfected, sometimes the timer goes off or maybe somebody breaks in your house and you still end up fumbling the ball. And I'll give you an example of this. The most common malfunction in a pump action shotgun is not caused by the shotgun itself, but caused by the operator. The way that you pump a shotgun is that you pump it all the way to the rear and all the way forward, all the way to the rear and all the way forward. It seems simple, but under stress when you're pumping the gun really quickly, you can actually short stroke the gun. Basically, when you're trying to load one into the chamber, you pump it halfway and it causes a malfunction. Either it gets caught in the bolt, it doesn't go into the chamber. A number of things can happen when you short stroke the gun. And you'd be surprised at how common that actually is, even with really, really experienced shooters. Now, I don't have a lot of situations in my life anymore where I use pump action shotguns for a serious use, and it's for this purpose. About a decade ago, I was watching a video with Jerry Michalek, and Jerry, you could pretty much argue, is the greatest shooter to ever live. Certainly one of the best shotgun shooters in the world. He's a multiple-time shotgun champion and world 3-gun champion. He's an impressive shotgun shooter, and if you watch him shoot the pump action shotgun, he can definitely do it better than me, and most likely better than you too. And the reality is I was watching a video with him, and I realized that over the course of the drill that he was firing, he managed to short stroke the shotgun multiple times and have to restart. And that got me thinking, if Jerry can't do it under stress, who the hell can? Now, I'm not saying you can't, but there is a small percentage of a chance that you may cause a malfunction in that gun during a situation where you definitely don't want that. And pump action shotguns were definitely the best option when it comes to the 12 gauge payload for the last century or so. But with the advent of the Beretta A300, the Benelli M4, and several other semi-automatic shotguns that are nearly as reliable as pump action shotguns done right, it's hard for me to honestly trust the pump action shotgun anymore. Because if I'm under stress, the last thing I want to worry about is the action and the running of the gun. I don't care about the mechanical reliability. I care about the actual percentage that I'm going to get a second and third and fourth shot. In which case, under stress, the semi-auto is just pull the trigger, pull the trigger, pull the trigger, pull the trigger. And on top of that, you even get a little better recoil control of the semi-auto, A, because of the mechanical mechanism, but also because you can actually push-pull the firearm really, really easy in a semi-auto because you're not going to be running the pump at all. Sometimes even with a Mossberg, if you hold the pump out a lot, it can actually lock and it won't pump. So there's a lot of things about the semi-auto that are disadvantages mechanically, but as far as to the user standpoint, you not having to manually operate that and using quality ammunition that a semi-automatic shotgun can run. For example, the Benelli M4 and the Beretta 1301 can have some problems with 8-shot.
Oh, I thought it went that time.
But if you run double-aught buck in a Benelli M4, you're literally never going to have a malfunction. In the military testing, they have gone through tens of thousands of rounds without a breakage or a cleaning with the Benelli M4, and the Beretta 1301 seems to be at least also reliable. Now, again, they're going to be more expensive, so that's a huge con, and I'm not saying they're a better choice for everybody, but for me personally, I don't trust in the ability of novice shooters to be able to run the pump under stress. That's just a fact. I have seen half a dozen people, if not more, fumble pump action shotguns at my house that have hunted their entire life when we put a timer on. And if you think a timer is stressful, wait until somebody's jumping at you through a window with a kitchen knife, or maybe there's a bear outside in the backyard about to eat your dog or your child. That's a stressful situation, and when that happens, I want to flip off a safety and pull a trigger. That's my personal opinion. I don't want to have to worry about the calculation of running a pump, or believe it or not, even the lever on a lever action rifle. I want to have a round in the tube, and I want to have another round in the tube if I miss. That's what I want. I don't want to have to think, I just want to do. And that philosophy of use comes from my years of competitive shooting and honestly shooting on film. When you're being recorded filming, it's a lot like there's a million people watching you, because there is. So I have constant stress to perform. And when I do that, I like to be able to have guns that I know are going to be reliable, that I can work reliably. And those guns over the years have really narrowed down to semi-automatics just because there's no interface with me with the gun, and I don't have to worry about any mechanical issues. So I guess is what I'm trying to say is the same thing that makes the pump action shotgun great also makes it something that I wouldn't personally trust if I could avoid it. Now, if I had $200 and that's all I had, could you make this work? yeah, you could. And that's my point, right? Is that I don't trust them for this reason, but if you are really good with it and you trust yourself, by all means use it. They're extremely effective, and I'm not saying you shouldn't use one. It's just if I have the opportunity to pick between a pump action shotgun for serious use and a semi-automatic shotgun that I know is going to be reliable, like a 1301 or a Benelli M4, I will. But I think this argument really applies to the AR-15. The AR-15 for me personally is the absolute, not fucking around, best self-defense weapon that you can have. It is easy to shoot, it is light recoil, so you're gonna train with it a lot, and on top of that, it cycles itself. You pull the trigger, you miss, you pull the trigger again, you miss, you pull the trigger again until you hit something. And if I'm recommending a home defense weapon for a first-time buyer, probably not going the pump action shotgun route because the barrier for entry as far as cost goes is very low, but as training goes is very high. And if you add the amount of ammunition that you need or dry fire that you need to train through all the issues of a pump action shotgun, whether that be just the pump itself, like I mentioned, or whether that be the heavier recoil.
Oh my God. I don't know if I can do this, I'm not gonna lie. Nope, can't.
Okay.
The fact that the gun is longer, so you're gonna have to work out a little bit. The fact that it goes through corners a little bit less well. If you have to hold a child and shoot it with one hand, you're better off with an AR. Like people say you can't shoot a rifle with one hand, you absolutely can. And you can't shoot a pump with one hand, I'll tell you that. I mean, you can, but you have to do it Paul Harrell style. I don't know if you guys saw that Miami-Dade video, but most people are not gonna be able to achieve that. So overall, I think there is a lot of pros toward the AR-15 other than cost. And I think if you have the money, I think if you're looking for the best self-defense platform, I think a gun that repeat fires is the best. And I think we've known that since like the early 1900s. We're just finally settling in. I mean, John Browning didn't stop after the pump action shotgun. He made the semi-auto 2 years later. So there's that, right? Now, the last thing I want to mention about pump action shotguns that I don't trust is post-2020 problems. And I feel like at least with the post-2020 problems, the lack of manufacturing quality over the last few years, especially for lower priced firearms, I think this has really hit pump action shotguns the most. If I was going to choose a pump action shotgun, these are the ones that I would choose. I would choose a 590. I would choose some sort of variant of the 500 at the very least, whether that be a super affordable Mossberg 88 or whether that be a 590 retrograde. Those are the ones I would choose. And I think those are really the only options out there for me personally as far as pump action shotguns go. You get into the Turkish stuff or you get into the newer Remington stuff and even some of the Winchester stuff, and you'll find the shittiest build quality that you'll find on really any firearm. Poor metal, poor manufacturing, poor quality control, and that equates to a lot of malfunctions. Now you add that to the fact that most people think these are reliable enough to never train with, and then you give them this short stroking, barely reliable Turkish shit show, and you'll find that they would have been way better off with a $400 Palmetto State AR-15. Basically a pretty long-winded way of saying that I think semi-automatics are better because they're more reliable to the average user. Now, if you are an expert pump action shotgun shooter and you're about to comment that I'm a fucking idiot, be my guest because I'm sure it would definitely work for you. However, I just don't think it's the appropriate tool for most people. I do want to mention that if you pick a semi-automatic shotgun over a pump action one, there's a few things that you should know. First off, there is equally unreliable semi-automatic shotguns, and you really should, if you're going to save up, get something like at least the new Mossberg 940, which is $700 to $800, or the Beretta A300 Ultima Patrol, which is again $700 to $800. Now I know that's a step up from the Mossberg 590, $300 or $400 more dollars, but I do think for the average shooter, that is probably going to be a better option for you. And then I think an even better option would be honestly an AR-15 at this point. I think it's going to be easier for everyone in the house to train with it. I think it's going to be easier for almost every situation, especially something like a hostage situation. I know people say you can shoot hostage situations with buckshot. All you have to do is like aim up and left, but good luck with that. You rip an ear off your wife and she's never going to let that go. I'll tell you that. Can you save a hostage with a shotgun? Say when. I would say maybe. So it's better off for one super precise shot. It's also easier to train, it's cheaper, and overall just a, in my opinion, slightly better platform. So if you want an affordable AR-15, the Radical, the Palmetto State, the Smith & Wesson Sport, and the Ruger 5.56 are all phenomenal options. I look forward to seeing all your wonderful comments in the comment section. Let me know below whether you think I'm right or wrong. I understand arguments both ways, and I understand why you would pick a pump shotgun, and I understand why you would pick a semi-auto. I would just personally pick a semi-auto if I had the cash. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Please help out your Oklahoma shelters, and remember to recycle. I'll check you later.